Because everybody has to deal with expectations, right?
Thanksgiving dinner is supposed to be a certain way.
The waters are rising quickly and they end up on top of their house.
And if it's not, everybody gets all pissed off about it.
And there I am, in a plane, strapped to a stranger.
Paddling the canoe says, hop in, I'll get you to safety.
Getting ready to jump out at 14,000 feet.
Welcome to Truth Be Told. This is week 4 of Common Quandaries. And this week we are talking about expectations, something that I think we all deal with, whether we recognize it or not. We are regularly making expectations on the world, on people, and it can lead to some rather interesting scenarios. So we're going to talk all about expectations tonight, what they are, some of the issues they cause, how to deal with them, why we have them, and of course, what to do with it. But a little bit about expectations. It's rather interesting because Ernest Holmes, the founder of Science of Mind, the guy who took all this ancient wisdom teaching from around the world, synthesized it into one philosophy of mind and spirit. He says that expectations speed up progress. So expectations can be good. That we should expect good to come into our lives. And I know that it took a whole lot of training to get to a point where even some of the expectations I make are for good. A lot of them are still just basic thinking. The thinking that we're born with, the thinking that we are indoctrinated into, where we are expecting people to act and behave in certain ways. And a lot of this is just because of the way our brain works. And on the other hand, modern psychology often says that expectations are detrimental, that we expect people to act in certain ways and they don't, and we get let down, or that we are expecting certain outcomes, often referred to as magical thinking, which I think is on the very opposite end of the spectrum from where Dr. Holmes wrote from. So there is this wide spectrum of expectations and how they play out in our lives. So, like I said, we're going to jump all the way into that tonight and talk about the expectations that show up in our lives, what they might look like, why they show up, and what to do about it. So, I hope you enjoy. Sit back, relax. Truth be told.
Our challenge this week is expectations, or as we're calling it, our common quandary. Because everybody has to deal with expectations, right? Now, I think Reverend Ryan said it best, that expectations can be the enemy of our good, of the good that would be coming to us if we weren't so locked into expecting something to be a certain way. So it brings me to a story. Maybe you've heard this before. If you have, bear with me. But if not, I think the story works well. Now, this is the story of a person who finds himself in a flood, and the waters are rising quickly, and they end up on top of their house. And this is a traditional, God-fearing human being that has an absolute faith in God and prayer. And so they know that God is going to come and save them. Now, shortly after, here along comes a canoe, and the person paddling the canoe says, hop in, I'll get you to safety. And the person on the rooftop says, that's okay, God's gonna save me, I'm good. So they go on. And then a little while later, here comes somebody in a motorboat and says, hop in the boat, I'll get you to safety. And the person says, no, thank you, I am praying, I have absolute faith that God is going to save me. A little while later, here comes the helicopter, drops a line and says, grab the line, we will rescue you. And the person says, don't you get it? I am praying to God and God is going to save me. Leave me alone. And the helicopter reluctantly leaves. The waters continue to rise until the person perishes. Now, this person goes to their version of the afterlife, of heaven, and they go to their version of God, which is going to be the little old man in the sky with the long gray beard, and says, God, what happened? I was praying. I had faith. Why didn't you save me? And God says, I sent you a canoe, I sent you a motorboat, I sent you a helicopter. What more did you expect? And really, that sums it up. When we have our expectations about the way something should turn out, we tend to get on blinders, and we don't see that the things that are coming for us are actually what it was that we were hoping to experience in a slightly different take. And that's the magic. That's the magic and beauty of affirmative prayer, is that we put out our intention to see what's going to happen, but we have to let go of locking into a specific way that it needs to show up. Now, another way that expectations can lead us astray is when we expect other people in the world to behave a certain way. And we hear ourselves saying, like, if I was in their shoes, I would have done this, or I would have never have done that. That is the absolute wrong way to respond in that situation. We say these things without even knowing what's going on through that person's head or what's going on in their life situations. We don't know. We just expect or assume things to be a certain way. And when they don't happen that way, we get ourselves bent out of shape and we lower our vibration and get into the not ideal way of being, and we blame it on somebody else not living up to our expectations. And what a shame, because we can miss out on so much more good if we learn how to not adhere to those expectations and demand that they live up to what we feel is the way they need to be. So let's see how this unfolds and see where our opportunity in expectations lies. Now you may be wondering why I was coming to you from the car today. The idea was to do something unexpected. It was either going to be the car or the bathtub. So, you're welcome.
This week's Common Quandary is probably the most challenging yet, and that's why we saved it for last. Expectations can be super confusing. What they are, why do they happen, and what do we do with them? You've already heard Chris talk a bunch about what expectations are, so in today's solution of the week, we're going to talk about what to do with it. A little bit about why they're so confusing. So, one of the reasons I think that expectations feel so confusing is because they feel so real. Like we're expecting that person to do a certain thing and they didn't do it. That is a real expectation. They said they were going to do it and they didn't do it. Or we expect someone to do it, they didn't say they were going to do it, but based on our past experiences, they did it last time, they're going to do it again. And they didn't do it. Or maybe they did do it, and that's even worse. Depends on the situation. But our expectations are leading us into making assumptions about what we think is going to happen. In the last couple of weeks, we have found each common quandary, there has been an invitation for our own growth, an invitation to step into a new way of being. What the hell is that in expectations, right? That's what it feels like, at least for me. Looking at expectations, it feels like, what is the growth in this? This seems crazy. All these expectations, and my mind goes immediately to, Thanksgiving dinner, holidays, right? Thanksgiving dinner is supposed to be a certain way. And if it's not, everybody gets all pissed off about it. Me too. And I wonder why. Where is the growth? Where is the invite in feeling pissed off if Thanksgiving dinner is not the same, does not feel the same, does not look the same, it's not the same people, it's a different place, right? All of those, we have all of these expectations. But really, when you sit with this for a little bit, when you sit with expectations for a little bit, it does become pretty clear. We are looking to control our experience. Expectations are a lot about control, so that's going to play into our solution. And expectations are also very much about worry, and it's also very much about discerning patterns from the past to help us better navigate the future. Our expectations really are the combination of worrying about the future based on past experiences. So it's allowing our past to influence how we worry about the future and at the same time try and control it. So we have all three of these elements playing out at the same time, which sounds crazy. But when we understand that, we can much better understand the solution. And the solution to this week sounds simple in theory, is maybe a little bit more challenging in practice. But the solution is to be present. The invite in expectations is to be present in the right here and now moment. The expectation is placing us everywhere but right now. It is taking us out of right now moment, it's putting us in the past, simultaneously putting us in the future, and it's also taking us out of any power that we might actually have. Anytime we try and control a situation, our power is dissipated and gone. So the solution is to stop, be present, and to discern what is real now. What is real right now? Not what is real last time this might have happened, or not what is real based on my previous experiences, not what I hope to be real in the future, but to stop and be present right now and figure out what is real now. Look at who's here now, look at what's happening now, look at how you feel now. All of those other things, there is benefit to looking to the past, there is benefit to creating our future, but when we tie all these things together, our power completely dissipates. We have power to create our present at other times, but not when we're tying it to worry and fear. So if we stop, when we stop, become present and discern what is real now, then that is when we actually get to experience the joy, the peace, the pleasure, whatever it is that's in front of us in this now moment. Expectations rob us of that experience. So stop, become present, discern what is real. That is our solution for the week.
Hey there, we aren't quite done yet, but we wanted to take a moment to thank you for being here. We are grateful for all of your support, and thank you so much for being here and watching with us. It is truly our pleasure to put all of this together and bring you some ancient wisdom and inspiration. If you feel the call to pay it forward, we welcome your gifts. You can always text a donation to 616-207-0007, including the keyword SEC. There's more details on our website.
So the tool of the week. So we've been talking about expectations and how sometimes we can get so wrapped up in expectations that we kind of miss everything that's around us. So the tool for the week is letting go. Now this seems a very simple thing, but in reality it's really hard sometimes in our lives just to let go and to allow things to be as they are and not get so wrapped up in what we think they should be or get attached to a specific outcome. So for an example of this, and I'll tell you a little story from my own life. Now I have a lot of pretty cool qualities, but being able to be in an airplane and be okay is not one of them. So for some reason I agreed for a friend for her birthday to go skydiving. Now I have no idea why I agreed to this. For one, I'm afraid of heights, and two, I definitely don't like to be in a plane. Anyway, fast forward, and there I am, in a plane, strapped to a stranger, getting ready to jump out at 14,000 feet. So they had decided I probably shouldn't be the last one to jump out, because if I was the last one, I definitely wouldn't jump out. And so I was like the third to go. And I remember holding on so tightly to the edge of the plane. That was open, and then we were supposed to do a backflip off the back. And I held on so tightly. I mean, my knuckles were white. I was holding on so tightly, just resisting this experience of letting go, because I was afraid of what would happen. But I did. I let go, and let me tell you, it was an amazing experience. Not one that I'll ever do again, but in the moment, I experienced the beauty of this earth from 14,000 feet without the walls of a plane. And it was just an amazing, peaceful experience. One that I felt just connection with everything. It was just absolutely amazing. But I could only experience that when I let go. When I let go of my fear, when I let go of what might happen, when I let go of all these expectations or all these stories that I had created about what may happen or what I wanted to happen. And in that letting go, I was able to experience this amazing beauty. And so that's the way it is in our life. Sometimes we have these situations where we get very attached to an outcome, and we're so hyper-focused on this outcome that we don't see what's around us. And so the tool is, and the invitation this week is just to practice letting go. And we all have these areas in our lives, these areas of stronghold, these areas where we're gripping so tightly to. And you know your area, and I definitely know mine. So the tool of the week is just to practice. Practice letting go. Practice allowing to be what is. And not really getting too caught up in the outcome or the end destination. Because life and the spiritual path, it's not about the end destination. And so we shouldn't get too caught up in that. But it's about the experience. It's the day-by-day experience. It's the journey. So the tool for the week, letting go.
Thank you for being here, and an even bigger thank you for watching until the end. If you'd like to take an even deeper dive, join us in conversation on Thursday night. We will explore this week's topic, answer questions, and just be together in a truly transformative experience. While you're here, click like and share, join our Facebook community so you can stay in contact with your community. The Soul Evolution Collaborative is supported and made possible by people like you. If you feel the call to help financially support this mission, you can text or give online. More information at soulevolutioncollaborative.org. All donations are tax deductible and greatly appreciated. To stay up to date, visit the Soul Evolution Collaborative website at soulevolutioncollaborative.org to sign up for email, news, and inspiration. We'll see some of you Thursday night at 7 p.m. Everybody else, we'll see you next week.